Welcome, everyone, to our live session. First of two today. This is our launch day. It's a day that 20 of us have been waiting for a very long time. I'm Lisa Pinnock. I'm really honored to be your guide today and also to have served as the guide for these amazing authors who joined me on this writing adventure for the last 16 months, I think. Time flies when you're having fun. So at the end of that journey, we have this to show for it. And what a creation it is. So Uncover Your Light, Empowering Stories of Hope and Resilience, Volume 2 is here. And it's available on Amazon today. So this is our rally day. It's a day that we celebrate what we've created, but also we want to get this book into the hands of as many of our readers as possible, because really that's what it's all about. That is why we write. At the end of the day, we want others to take our words in and get some sort of self-reflection, insight, lessons learned from those words. And you have so much depth to choose from in volume 2 of our series. I'm really thrilled to be hosting today some of those co-authors who will come on and share what they've gone through from the conception of this project to the publication, and there were a lot of steps in between there. So we are going to dive into more of that in a moment. So to start off today, I would like very much to share some of the context in which we came here. You know, I guess I should take you on a bit of a progression first. And it all started with this book, Women Let's Rise. So shout out to my amazing friend and lead author on this project, the first one that I wrote on, Lola Small. She simply invited me to share a story in this book. And I'm forever grateful, not only that she asked, but that I said yes. There were a lot of reasons I could have just ignored the offer or, kept on going with life as it was. But something within me was calling, and I felt a very strong nudge that there was a story within me to share. And what I did share in this beautiful book was a chapter entitled Trusting Your Intuition. Now that's really instructive because that's exactly what I did when I decided to bring an idea that I had to my publisher. So Golden Brick Road Publishing was who I worked with for this first book. And lo and behold, when I spoke with Kylie Hansen, the founder, and gave her my ideas for Uncover Your Light, this book was born. So this is volume 1. It launched last week on Amazon, and I'm so proud to share with you that we hit within the top 10 of several categories, including happiness, motivation, and self-help, and number 6 on the hot new releases in mental health. I think that speaks volumes about what our book is all about. I began with the premise of really diving into this concept. How do we shine our lights brightly when we've lost touch with who we are? I brought that to the attention of as many of my friends and colleagues who I thought also had a story to share. And what I found was a lot of ahas and, yeah, me too. And heck yeah. Those sorts of responses were telling me that it was resonating deeply. And that brings us to our current celebration today, because after all of the excitement, volume 1 filled within 2 months. It was sold out with 20 authors plus myself. And we decided to launch volume 2 right away. So I would like to share with you at this time a bit of the excerpts from both the introduction and my chapter. So I did write different chapters for volume 1 and 2, just FYI, if you're thinking of buying both, and I highly recommend it, then you will read from 21 different authors in volume 1 and 20 of us who wrote in volume 2. So that is just an incredible collection of wisdom right there. So here's just a paragraph from the introduction. My deep gratitude goes out to the talented, heart-centered, courageous women I had the honor of working alongside to create our compilation, Uncover Your Light, Volume 2. These stories of hope and strength are about being the best version of yourself, which is a profound act of self-love. The 19 co-authors who share their stories have faced their fears when the path ahead seemed dark and unknown, and they want to provide a roadmap for others who are on similar journeys. They offer insights from lived experiences that can serve as a survival guide for women from all walks of life. Our co-authors live across Canada and the US, but they represent a greater spectrum of diversity than their current geographical locations would reveal. The array of various backgrounds and cultures has created a rich tapestry of experiences that come through in their writings. Their professions also cover a wide range, including first responders, health and wellness, life coaching, spiritual healing, education, entrepreneurship, and more. The topics within these chapters are widely relatable, yet deeply personal. They address issues such as family breakdown and rebuilding life from scratch, personal trauma and upheaval, journeys of self-discovery, and finding your inner strength, discovering your worth and living with purpose. And the list goes on. You, our dear reader, will walk away with fresh insights, life lessons, and a multitude of practical tips that you can implement in your daily life. So that's just to give you a little taste of what you are in store for when you purchase your own copy of Uncover Your Light. And I also want to just remind any of you who've already pre-ordered, because wow, when I last checked Amazon, I mean, it looks like the book is temporarily out of stock because it's selling like hotcakes. Amazing. But if you've already bought a copy, I really, really would appreciate, and so would all the co-authors, if you'd go on to Amazon and leave us a review, because that helps to just garner more attention for potential readers and buyers in the future. So if you haven't done that yet, please, please think of doing that today. We appreciate it. I'm going to end my introduction, my welcome to all of you, just by reading a bit of my chapter in this amazing compilation. Mine is chapter 20, and it's entitled, Only You Can Determine Your Worth. And my chapter begins quite appropriately, because of my background and love of music, with a song. All these pieces, broken and scattered, in mercy gathered, mended and whole, empty-handed, but not forsaken, I've been set free, I've been set free. Those words are from the song Broken Vessels by Hillsong Worship. If you live long enough, you discover the pathways toward healing are never linear. They can take you through hills and valleys that would put Mount Kilimanjaro to shame. But sometimes the deep descents and arduous climbs, what we call tough experiences, can open us up to the greatness within us. So, dear reader, what hidden gems will be revealed through your trials and hardships? Here's a question to answer a question. What's the difference between a lump of coal and a diamond? The answer? A huge amount of pressure. When we frame it this way, we can view our struggles as ways to mend our souls. Our challenges are opportunities for expansion and elevation. And those broken pieces, they become our building blocks. Well, it's time now to start our live interviews. And I hope that you will stick around and come on by and hear some of these amazing co-authors speak about their experiences. And we're going to begin in a moment with one of our lovely co-authors who has joined us in the studio. And I'm going to introduce her in a moment as soon as we get set up. Welcome, Stephanie Rourke Jackson. And her chapter, The Opportunity of Betrayal, is a deeply personal one. I'm going to let her share all about that, but here is her quote. It's not what happens to you, it's how you handle it that shapes your life. So we're going to hear from Stephanie herself in a moment. And I know that she has some really interesting insights and wisdom to share with us. So we are going to welcome her to the stage in a moment. There she is. Welcome, Stephanie.
I'm like my
Oh,
thumbs.
there we go.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, great. Oh, good. I can hear you, my dear. It's so wonderful
Great.
to see you. Oh, and we're going to be
It's
starting
been a
off our lives with you. For sure, it has been a journey. Absolutely, I know that for sure. Having been alongside you the whole way, so I'll give um our audience a bit of context for each of our co-authors that come on. So I had the pleasure of meeting this lovely lady in a networking group that we were both part of during COVID. So we're talking a ways back. All the years they're blend together to me. So anyway, we did meet during that time, and really, right away, I felt a kinship, a sisterhood, and I wanted very much to approach Stephanie about this idea that I was brewing up in the background about I'd already launched volume 1, and I was now at the point of starting to look for co-authors for volume 2. So what I proposed to Stephanie, I feel like it was the right time, and I'll let you take it away in terms of sharing what that meant for you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, we met uh, in a networking group, and it was during leadership meetings. So dreams. We were talking about goals, big audacious goal that we had, and I really want to write a book. She texted me privately and said, "For you," and later, and we had this most long conversation. Like, I think we, of knowing each other, we knew so much about connected, and she shared this project. This is going to be the years I have been attempting only with myself. So there was no accountability. There were nothing to really encourage me for. Um, so I had about 7 years ago to being through a very difficult crisis. The idea was sort of laid on my heart, like, because it's a powerful story and hope. And I wanted to other women the same way that I had read through something similar. I thought I've always loved to write. I've always loved to journals upon journals upon journals. I was a marketer and a writer, so I've always loved words and of getting something out. Lisa approached me, and I wanted to do it right away, but then I had to. This gets real, and there's an investment, and I just wondered, like, really commit to it and come through, and voila. Yeah, I'm thrilled that I'm part of Volume 2. So exciting.
Me too. I'm not sure if I'm still muted. Hold on. Am I on? Okay. Awesome. I am also thrilled that you are part of this journey. And you know what? I'm going to just share a little bit more about what I found amazing and fascinating about your chapter and about where you've come from. And I'm going to give you a little chance to go through the volume settings on your device, and then you can have a little break before you start again, Stephanie, so that you can just check the chat, the private chat with Olivia. Okay. And then we'll come back to hearing more about your experience. So one of the things that I know that Stephanie has shared with me, and has also been incredibly vulnerable and courageous about sharing with all of you through this incredible story, is how the opportunity of betrayal, the breakdown that occurred within her marriage, offered an opportunity to grow and to be in a place of complete chaos and messiness and trauma and hurt, but yet with two partners who are willing to work through that messiness. It absolutely came to fruition that the healing occurred for both of them and their family. And I'm so thrilled and excited to share with you. And I'm sure Stephanie won't mind me sharing that yesterday was hers and Rob's 30th wedding anniversary. And the timing of that, there are no accidents.
Okay, they're not.
And I'm just thrilled that she is here to be able to share more about her journey. So we're going to, and one of the things too that I think we have had in common in terms of I guess life lessons and things that have come forth from that healing journey is this, and I'll let Stephanie share more details about this type of Japanese art that is really I've been introduced to it actually recently when I was attending. It's come up in my feed, and I think there's a reason for that. But I really dove into it some more when I attended a retreat that Stephanie put on a few weeks ago with her partner. And at that retreat, we spoke about this type of Japanese art where it's called kintsugi, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right, but Stephanie can definitely correct me. So what happens is you have these broken pieces of clay, and what you do, and I'm going to let Stephanie take it from here because she
She
can
can
explain it.
explain it.
Okay.
Hang on, I'm trying, but yeah, we clicked a few buttons.
For try again. Mm. Oh, okay. No. You're on. You're
Thank you.
it was working a minute ago, so you know
Oh,
what,
okay.
Stephanie?
Hold on.
Oh yeah, now
Yes, now? I don't know why it's going in and out. Um,
oh, I'm sorry that the audio is still it's still coming in and out, but we will go backstage and do some reparations. And don't worry, we'll bring you back on, my dear, because your story has to be shared. So we will say goodbye just for now. Okay, thank you, my dear. And we're going to bring on our next co-author who is going to join us. I believe she is backstage already and waiting to come on. So we're going to hear from Andrea Beneteau in a moment. And Andrea's story in volume 2 is entitled Showing Up Female. Here's her quote. It's important to never feel alone during the tough times. And I want everyone to realize you can endure. 100%. And boy, let me tell you, as far as endurance, perseverance, strength, and resilience go, I believe this lady should have her her face on those terms in the dictionary. And I'm so thrilled to also share, as we're bringing her on, that she is one of my longest standing friends and connections in this volume. I would say, actually, the longest. There she is. Hello, Andrea. Welcome to our live.
Thanks. How exciting. We've been waiting for this
It,
day for so long.
you know what? It really crept up on me, and I have to tell you, it's not as if I'm unaware that it's coming, but I think there's been so much leading up to both of the launches that today when I woke up and realized it's launch day again.
Yeah, you
It's
had the
just
luxury of having some practice last week. So,
yeah. But as I was saying before you came on, I have the real honor of being connected with some of our co-authors for short periods of time, some for quite a long time, and you're one of those in the long time category. We go back to elementary school, Andrea and I, in Scarborough, St. Ignatius of Loyola. Shout out to them. So you know um the way we connected, and I love to give the audience a bit of context, is just the universe did its thing. I mean, we weren't in touch regularly, but for some reason my post about this project cropped up on her Facebook feed. Go figure. And I really believe there are no accidents. So I am thrilled that Andrea said yes. I mean, pretty much immediately after we spoke. I don't think there was a ton of conversation or wringing of hands as to whether to do it, because you had a story that was so ready to be shared. I believe that this nudge was just all you needed. So I'll let you take it over from there and share from your chapter or whatever you would like to with everyone today.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Hello, everybody who's joining us today. Yeah, as Lisa said, she posted the author opportunity on Facebook, and it's something that I've been thinking about probably for 10 years. Of course, as you saw from the pictures, I'm a firefighter, fire captain. I'm retired, and I didn't feel like I could really share my story until I was retired for so many different reasons. And of course, I'm not a writer, but I had about 30,000 words when I saw Lisa's post, and I understand that's enough to have an entire book. And this portion of my journey here with Uncover Your Light was only 2,500 words. So I really had to scale back my story. But the writing process was, I guess, difficult a little bit for me. Number one, I'm not a writer. And number two, of course, in my profession, you kind of have to teach yourself to shut down your feelings, just as a coping mechanism, as a defense mechanism. And then when you try to sort of recapture the words to describe a lot of years of trauma, it's not the easiest thing to do. You kind of, if you don't tap into those feelings, it's really hard to sort of put them into words, I found for myself. And of course, the premise of the book is about uncovering your light. And I felt a little bit like I'm not there yet. I'm still healing. And it's not something that I thought that I maybe could share that portion of a story. I know I have the trauma portion, but the recovery light portion of my story is something that I really had to work hard at to sort of turn inward and try to figure that out for myself. So it was very therapeutic, cathartic to sit with myself and my thoughts and my feelings for the first time, because there are a lot of things that I've never said out loud for so many reasons. So, and as much as my story talks about all the stuff that happened to me, I think just being a first responder, you don't always take the time to stop and feel sorry for yourself, because you're dealing with such devastation and trauma for all the people that we deal with, the people who call 911 every day. You know that someone's always suffering more than you are suffering. So. And so I was just going to share a little bit of my story. I don't want to ruin the surprise, but I'm going to read from my story. So I hope you enjoy. My story is Showing Up Female. The intense heat pushed me down onto my belly like an infant lying helpless and immobile. The floor was already spongy and barely supported our weight. Thick smoke and darkness defied the daylight outside. The fire hose dragged through my hands, a welcome reminder I wasn't alone. All I could hear was my breathing, my heart pounding, and the crackling of everything around me burning. I crawled along the floor, sounding it for holes and feeling for bodies, not a second to consider my own mortality. Although we had no idea about the layout of the house or where the fire was burning, we moved swiftly through the smoke as though we had a calculated plan of attack. We needed to find the fire and hit it quickly before things got worse. As I moved deeper into the structure, I counted doorways to help remember my way out. Without the use of my sight, my other senses were in overdrive. The further I advanced into the home, the hotter it was. I heard a window explode on my right, a signal that the hot gases were too much for glass. which likely meant it was too hot for us as well. The temperature in the room immediately dropped hundreds of degrees, but it wasn't enough. On my radio, I called for crews outside to request more ventilation. The temperature continued to climb. I hollered out to my partner to pull out, and although my command sounded barely intelligible through my face mask and heavy breathing, I was relieved to feel the hose pulling in the opposite direction. As we retreated, I expected the heat to let up a little, but it didn't. As every second passed, I knew this beast was getting angrier. We had one chance to get it right. When it comes to fire, there are no rehearsals. Of course, firefighting is hard, even scary sometimes. Fire itself is completely unpredictable. It can hide in places and surround us before we even have time to open the nozzle. We are exposed to carcinogenic gases and temperatures that could melt the helmet off your head. We teeter off ladders in the edges of buildings, carrying 60 pounds of gear on our bodies. And that's all before we even start the actual work. That actual work starts when someone calls 911, often the very worst moment of their lives. Some of our patients die, no matter how hard we try. We bear witness to complete loss and devastation. Occasionally, we are the last ones to hold someone's hand as they take their final breath. The career impacts you in a way that nobody can ever explain. Often, the idea of hero feels impossible to live up to. Despite our training and efforts, the job is rarely glamorous. It hardly ever has a Hollywood hero ending. But the most difficult part of firefighting for me wasn't the plane crashes and car accidents or apartment fires. It wasn't the homicides or suicides either. We had the training and support to deal with all of that. The hardest part for me was something I shouldn't have had to consider, being female. And the rest, you'll have to buy a book and find out how it ends.
Absolutely. And I love how you left us hanging there. That's it. That's exactly why you need to have this book in your hands. Please remind me, Andrea, at the end of our chat to take a picture because I didn't do so with Stephanie, but she's coming back on later. And I don't want to forget to do that. I'm amazed too that in the context of all that you just shared, and I think that excerpt is really instructive of how much you had to deal with professionally. I mean, it is as a first responder of your um, rank and caliber, you are in situations all the time that would make any of us completely fold. Um, and yet you do them day in and day out. Even in the, taking that into account, there was still more that you had to face um, on your daily journey of being female um, in this realm. And I really appreciate how you framed that for us, both in your chapter and thank you for reading that portion, because I think it really brings home just what exactly you had to go up to. So yeah, beautiful. We have some comments here. I should read them. How about glasses would probably help. Eva Wong just said, beautiful, Andrea. And Rupinder said, your chapter was so powerful, Andrea, and so inspiring. I absolutely agree. And oh, I think this might be, could this be one of your sisters? Elise Beneteau. Said, I'm so excited for you and absolutely proud of you.
Oh.
Yes. Me too, Elise, me
Thank
too.
you. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, so proud to know you, my friend, and so grateful that you joined this writing journey. As you said, you came on to it not being a writer, but I have to just give you props in that you would not know that at all. I mean, whether there's training and courses or whatever, everyone came to this project being at different levels of comfort with the writing process. I would say that your words seem to just come from you in such an organic way, because I had the pleasure of reading, different drafts. Um, that it was a beautiful thing to witness. So yeah, yeah, thank
Thank
you for
you.
being part of this.
Oh, that means a lot. Thank you, Lisa.
Oh, and we're going to do a picture. Hopefully we can do yes, we can do one of these. Actually, hold on. I got to put my copy down because I'm doing the picture.
Okay.
Here we go. All right, let's just do a shot. And I'll do one more for good luck. Thank you, my dear. And
Awesome.
it was great having you on today.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right, take care. And
Bye, everybody.
we'll see you on the other side of the Amazon launch, my friend.
Okay. All right.
With good news.
Thank you, Lisa. Bye.
Bye. All right. Well, my goodness, it's no surprise why Andrea's chapters is starting off our volume 2. It really is just a wonderful way to dive into the concept of uncovering your light and living in your authentic truth. Gosh, she did that beautifully. So, truth. We're going to come back on. So, truth. We're going to come back on. So, truth. We're going to come back on. Okay, so we are joined by Stephanie Rourke Jackson, and we're going to be, yes, we do have quite a bit of echo. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I know that we did sound checks and everything last night, and Stephanie was good to go. So it's no fault of hers at all. We are just, technology can be a pain. And it can do these things without warning. So thank you for your patience, though, and we're going to keep trying to get the audio working in the background. Okay, cool. All right. Let's see. Let's see if we can.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we can mute me.
Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Well, welcome back, everybody. All right. Thank you so much. Well, you've heard the introduction and our little story of connection. So why don't I just get right into it? This is a privilege to be part of Uncover Your Light, Volume 2. And really, that's what my story is about, is a deep dive into understanding who I am and really revealing my light after going through a crisis in my marriage of betrayal through infidelity. So I'm going to read a little bit of the chapter, and then I just want to give you kind of an illustration through some art form and a metaphor that I use, because when I'm coaching my clients, it just seems to stick a little bit better when there's something that you can lean into to help you with your healing journey. So I will read from my chapter. After raging for what seemed like hours, we were exhausted, yet we did something incredibly normal. We folded a pile of clean laundry that sat in the middle of the bed. He went to sleep first, oddly relaxed for someone who vomited out a deep, dark secret, and I just lay there frozen, wearing the stench of vomit while I bargained with God to please turn back time. After what seemed like a sleepless eternity, I picked up my phone and looked up what to do after an affair. My guts felt like they had been surgically removed without any anesthetic. It was pure hell. I couldn't believe that this was my life. That was when the tears rolled down my cheeks for the first time. I stood face to face with the impact of this incredible infidelity and had a panic attack. This was disgraceful. What would people think of my perfect life? I needed help. We needed help. And the reason why I chose this is because I think that there are a lot of women out there like myself who never ask for help because we feel like we can do it all, because we feel like we have got it all together and we've got to be strong and independent and take care of all our people, kids, family, friends, work, all of it. And the reality is we can't. We were never meant to live in isolation and never meant to carry all our burdens ourselves. And I had to learn this the hard way. So at 46 years old, I went to therapy for the very first time. And then I got a coach and I went into recovery group. And we spent 2 years of dedicated work healing, and we came through it. And we came through it stronger and healthier and happier and have a more intimate, thriving relationship. Yesterday we celebrated 30 years of marriage. So, whew, amazing. But it wasn't without reaching out and asking for help, a lot of prayer, a lot of support, a lot of friends, a lot of meals, a lot of wiping tears. And so with that, I also decided to change careers at 50 years old, and I trained to become a life coach. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you is this little art form called kintsugi. And it's a Japanese art form. It's ancient, but basically the premise is just because something is broken doesn't mean you throw it away. It can become more beautiful for being broken. And kintsugi uses gold, which is strong, and it's beautiful, and it's valuable to put things that were broken back together again. My husband gave me this gift for Christmas, the year after our crisis happened. And I just wanted to read from the little card that came with it, that when we view our lives as sometimes broken, even shattered, we begin to understand that no matter the trauma, despair, hurt, fear, abuse, failure, addiction, disease, even death, our scars are a part of us. We must look at these breaks as a place for beauty to transpire, and each time that we will see that we are more beautiful for being broken. So I've provided just a little sort of script of how to use kintsugi in your own life for your own healing and for your own repair and restoration. And really it's about just viewing the thing that broke as not throw-outable. You know, it can be repaired and it can be made stronger, and finding your worth with each new layer of gold that you place into your new story and into your recovery and into your restoration, that you will be gaining strength and that you will have patience with yourself as you rebuild, and determine not to hide your imperfections or your flaws, because those scars give another woman the ability to use her voice and to stand up and to rise and to feel like her life and her brokenness and her situation can be mended as well. Gold is strong. Lean into the gold and the strength that you have and share your valuable story. Another woman needs to hear your perspective. Thank you so much.
So much.
So much
For your
brave.
I think I've got a bit of an echo. Am I good now? Oh, yay. So Stephanie, I just am so thrilled that we that our paths crossed. I say this all the time, but it's just true. There are no accidents. I know that that our meeting was for so many purposes. I've had the pleasure of not only working alongside you for this project, but also, you know, developing a beautiful friendship and attending your retreats. That's one of the ways that you help women heal in the various ways that they need to in their lives, is by hosting these wonderful women's retreats. And we have a few of our co-authors who are really good at that. You'll hear from them later. But Stephanie, that's one of your gifts. And I'm just, as someone who has now experienced your retreat, and I came back with just so much uh, depth of understanding of myself and my needs, because I took that time away from all the distractions to just be. And I think we take for granted in our busy lives how powerful that is, that standing up for you and for your needs, and just doing so in a way that is really focused on self-love. So I want to say thank you publicly for that, and to also remind anyone, you can always connect with Stephanie on her Instagram pages, which are right there. But also she has this wonderful partnership called Chaos to Calm Retreats, and you can find them on Facebook and Instagram as well, and connect with her there, because I'm sure she's got something up her sleeve coming up in with another one. Yes. And here's some comments from Eva Wong. Definitely using our brokenness to help others. This speaks to me. Mm. I'm completely in agreement with you. Oh, so thank you again, Stephanie, for joining us, for your courage in sharing a very vulnerable story, part of your life that you've experienced healing, and by speaking that truth, I believe that others can benefit from that greatly. And just for all your amazing support and willingness to share in this journey. So we are happy for you. Let's do our shot, shall we? Okay. Yeah, we're gonna do our screenshot. I love how everyone keeps me on track with that so that I don't forget. Okay, ready? Here we go. One more for good luck. Thank you, my dear. All right. Take care. Well, that was great. I'm so glad that we got to hear from Stephanie, and the audio issue was resolved so that you could hear her amazing words, because I knew that they would be powerful. So here we go. We're going to be moving on to our next co-author who is joining us, Molly Fair. So we're going to have her join in the studio momentarily, and I'll read her quote for you. Here we go. Through great adversity comes great strength. Don't let the dark moments of your life define you. Let them change you. And we're going to welcome in Molly to our live so that she can share what uncovering her light means for her and what that has looked like. Here she is. Welcome, Molly.
Hey, Lisa.
Oh, it's great to have you here, my dear. I'm going to just give a very short intro and I guess perspective on how all of our various co-authors came to be on
Yes,
the project.
I love it.
And yeah, in your case, it was through FemCity. And I went through, because we had a really fun anniversary event yesterday, and the founder of FemCity, Violet De Ayala, she flew in from Miami for this event. And me being in the Toronto area, of course I had to play hooky and go, but shh, don't tell anyone. Oh wait, are we live? Oh, okay. Well, I went through both volumes, and you know what I discovered? It's so cool to share this. 8 of our co-authors in volume 1 are femmes,
Ah,
and some of our co-authors, including yourself from volume 2,
how
are
many?
connected. 7 of us.
Okay, very cool.
I know, it's so awesome. So we did meet through this fabulous women's
Yeah.
networking group that it's spans across the US and Canada, because I mean that's how else would we have met? I'm here in Canada, and Molly's in the US, and
Mhm.
I love the breadth of places and backgrounds and experiences that our co-authors bring to this
Yeah.
project. So
Yeah.
without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Molly to share with you. Yes, Helen's saying, way to go, Fem Sisters. Oh, she's one of
Yeah.
them. Absolutely. Yep, 100%, Helen. So take it away, Molly.
I know it's funny when I tell people that I'm a co-author of a book with the majority of the people living in Canada. They're like, how did that happen? How did that all work out? And we're like, well, but yeah, like one of the things that really drew me to this project, like when you had first announced it, was just the title of it, quite honestly, the Uncover Your Light. My motto at that point, when we were first kind of connecting with each other, and when I had joined Fem City, was to be a light to others, I have to glow myself. And so that message just really resonated with me. And, you know, I tell my story a lot because it's a part of what I do professionally now, but to be able to be a part of a project like this, where as women, we come together and share all of our different stories, but with the uniting thread and theme of just finding that light, that hope, that resilience. And, you know, another one of my missions is to empower and educate and inspire. And, you know, that's also in the title of the book, these empowering stories of hope and resilience. And so I'm just grateful that we connected and that I was able to be a part of such a great project. I got a little message from a friend yesterday who had read the book, and she just said, "Oh my gosh, loving your book, tears down my face. Thanks for doing what you do." I didn't suspect to get emotional.
I hear you, because that's been me for the last few weeks. Been times when I didn't even expect it. You know what I think, to Molly, what that shows is that when we take the brave step into something that is quite unknown, because you know I believe this is your first time doing a project like this,
Yeah.
as it was for most of our co-authors. It
Yeah.
was the first time. When you say yes to something like that, it opens up so many opportunities that you may not see at the moment of your yes, but they are doled out down the
Yeah.
road, and in
Absolutely.
ways that you just don't even expect to happen. And that has been my experience from the first time I wrote years ago with Women Let's Rise, which was my
Yeah.
first experience, till now.
Uh-huh.
And I think the fact that our readers are being touched by these stories, it's very moving for us as the authors, and to know that our words are having an impact.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear a bit more about your work with empowering
Yeah.
women, and you
Yeah.
know the work that you do
Yeah.
in your business, in your
Yeah.
life, to make that a reality.
Yeah. So my story really brings me to what I do, like the story that I share. So I won't share a lot about the specific story. You can read it in this amazing book. But what I experienced, and for me, it was a health journey, right? Like previous to becoming a nutritional therapist. So now I'm a functional nutritional therapy practitioner. But prior to that, I was a music therapist. And you know, I still have a great love for music. Here's my little baby sitting here right behind me. But because of what I experienced with my own personal health journey was, you know, I had 4 kids, and all of a sudden my health just started to go awry, and it was nothing. I've never had to experience health concerns or issues before. And then the problems just continued to compound and compound and started to affect every aspect of my life, physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And ultimately, after several years, you know, I had to find some alternative solutions to health. And that's what brought me to the functional medicine, functional nutrition world, and finding you know, using nutrition and supplementation and lifestyle changes, as using those tools as forms of medicine, was so impactful and powerful in my life, that I was like, okay, I know that there's so many other men and women, but really specifically women that I serve within my practice, that are struggling with the same things, not finding the answers, not, you know, kind of settling for feeling less than their best. And so that just became my mission. So I went back to school and did all the things. And so now that's what I do. I try to educate, and through that education, really empower women and inspire them to reclaim their right to vibrant health, because we all deserve it. And there are solutions and there are answers. And it doesn't have to be super overwhelming and hard. And you don't have to just settle for not feeling well.
Going to just, oh, there
Oh,
we
there you go. I'm like, there you are.
I was saying 100%, Molly. You know, I think in reflecting on my own health journey, that has been the case so often, that I've settled and I've been okay with being less than okay, really, when I
Yeah.
look back on it. And a lot of that may have been wrapped up in motherhood and always just putting the
Right.
kids first, putting putting everyone ahead of myself,
Right.
really. I'm sure a lot of women can relate to that. But, you know, as part of my personal journey and growing spiritually and emotionally, in terms of tapping into what I need, my health journey has gone to the next level, because what I need is first and foremost on my mind, instead of being at the back of my mind,
Yeah.
stuffed under a whole bunch of to-dos. And so what you bring, by putting that front and center on the table of the lives of the women that you help, and you know, I know it's both men and women that you work with, but putting that front and center is, it's a gift.
Yeah.
And it's so important to have a partner on that journey, like yourself, who
Right.
knows what you've been through it. You know, again, you got to read the chapter to understand
Yeah.
just how much this lady has gone through to be where she is today. And I love that we're teasing people with,
Yeah, I know.
you gotta find out, you gotta
Oh,
buy
look,
the
you have to read it. Yeah,
book. Yep. It's marketing 101, right? But
that's right.
anyway, it's just such a pleasure to have you as part of this this writing adventure that we shared over the last 15, 16 months. It's been a
No,
while since, you know, the beginning to now having it in our hands. Oh, and speaking of which, let's take a picture before
we have
you
to do
exit
that.
the studio, so that we can share this on our socials later. Awesome. Okay, here we go. One more for good luck. I always take two just in case of blinking. Not you, me. I'm famous for blinking. Thank you, Molly. It was just a delight to hear from you. And please pick up your copy of Uncover Your Light Volume 2 to read Molly's story and all of the other incredibly inspiring women in this
Yeah.
book. Take care, my
Likewise.
dear.
Thanks, Lisa.
All right. We are continuing our live. Wow, we're almost at the top of the hour, and we've heard so many beautiful, poignant stories of hope and resilience. And really, that's what it's about. And we're here to bring it to for you, and to give you a chance to lean into what that means for you. We all have a story inside us. We all have a voice that matters. And one of the mantras and the guiding forces behind these projects, for me, from the outset, was giving women an opportunity to have their voice heard, and to know that not only is it of value to for themselves, because that puts you into this beautiful space of alignment when you really lean into your authentic truth, but you're also radiating that light out to others as a beacon of hope. And that is a beautiful thing to witness. Yes, she did do a great job, Stephanie. Yes, Molly was just wonderful to hear from, as all of our co-authors so far. So we're going to be moving on to another dear friend of mine, Sylvia Caleri Blanco. And her coaching practice is called Authentically Evolving. Now, I mean, just those words alone tell you why this lady and I are on the same page in so many respects, because that is really what I've experienced in my evolving. And I think it's what so many of our co-authors have expressed in different ways in their pages. And so you're just going to have to buy a copy to find out. And here she is. Oh, welcome, Sylvia, to our live. Oh, it's great to see you and to hear from you today. So, we are going to be talking about your chapter. Let me grab my book here, and we're going to be diving into a bit about how your writing in this project also ties into some of the amazing things that you're doing with helping other women to authentically evolve, and what that looks like on the ground level for, my goodness, the tons of women that you have helped through your not only coaching practice, but through your women's retreats. So I am going to oh, and by the way, Sylvia is one of the lovely women that I mentioned earlier when I was introducing Molly. She is one of those Fem City sisters in this volume, one of 7. And I'm just so blessed. I met her before Fem City, though. We go back a ways because we're neighbors, both Markhamites. Is that a word? We're both Markham residents, and we go to the same church. And we've been also parishioners at St. Patrick's. Shout out to St. Pat's in Markham. So, I've met our co-authors through so many different avenues, and I'm just really blessed to know this lovely lady. So I'm going to let her take it away and share with you how she uncovered her light. Okay, we may have to do a little pause.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Thank you, Lisa, for that beautiful introduction. It's lovely. And I feel so blessed to have met you also. I think our first meeting was at a 100 women group meeting where we shared a cup of tea and conversation. And it was just meant to be from there on in. Well, I would like to share a part of my story. I had a beautiful life, an amazing husband, 2 gorgeous boys, and what's looked like on the outside was not really happening on the inside. So over the years, I suffered from mental health issues and went into a premature menopause at the age of 32, which, you don't think you're going through menopause at 32. Thank God I had my boys when I did. So it's important to really understand in this situation, just looking back on it all, that as things change in our lives, we have to really go with the flow and accept things how we're going. And throughout my life, and because of my parents' upbringing that I was so blessed to have, they were amazing role models as a couple. It taught me to really be my authentic self. And I stay true to my company name, because what happens is we put on a mask in life. We wear the mask of a mother, we wear the mask of a daughter, an employee, whatever the case may be. And sometimes we lose ourselves when wearing those masks. And we have to take the time to remove those masks once in a while, like a pause in our life, to plan to take care of ourselves. I just heard something recently on a podcast or something, and it said something like, when women do something for themselves, or they treat themselves to something, they feel indulgent, that they're being selfish. And she said, you're not. You're being self-full. You're filling your cup, as opposed to being selfish, because in order for you to be able to give and serve, as we do as women, mothers, teachers, whatever the case may be, we need to be full ourselves to be able to give the way we truly want to give. And so throughout my journey, I always felt that I had a calling to do more. I had a 32-year career in sales and marketing and loved it, and it provided us with a great lifestyle. However, there was always something missing, something that was calling, um, of some sort of means of helping others. And so, and I just had the opportunity to hear Les Brown speak recently, and he said, "We are made for our jobs. Sorry, we are paid for our jobs. We are made for our callings. So we are made for our callings." And I truly felt a calling to be a coach, and decided in 2020 to take some courses and get certified as a certified life coach in life mastery. And so what I do is help people, take them from where they are today, be if they're unhappy with their job, their health and wellness, their love and relationship, and in their life in general. We take the steps from where they are currently today to where they want to be in the future. And it's all self-reflective as to where they want to be. So I'm going to take this opportunity to read a part of my chapter, if that's okay, Lisa. So this is after uncovering the light. It gives me great pleasure and joy when helping others design a life they'd love to live. This is when I saw my light and decided to become a life mastery coach. I'm in a place where I want to live as my authentic self and help others do the same. I think we evolve each day as we experience new things that are happening. We all have a story to tell. And it makes us up level, be it by design or by default. Happiness is not a destination, such a cliche. It's a decision we each have to make for ourselves every day. I choose to be happy, even though through challenging times. I start every morning with gratitude for what I have already accomplished, and gratitude for all the blessings coming my way. Gratitude in all the blessings coming my way. The ups and downs remind us that we are alive. Life, the beeping of a heart monitor. Living on a flat line is living a mediocre life. And we're not alive. We have to take the time to live life when we can. Each moment, be present. I think I'm going to stop there and leave you teased for the night, for the rest of it. So, go ahead.
I love how all of so many of our co-authors today have done that expertly. Just leave it at a portion where you're just on the precipice of finding something out. But you know, you're just gonna have to buy the book. What can we say? It's on
Absolutely.
Amazon. So
Yes.
go get it.
It's on
Oh,
Amazon.
so
And
good.
I also wanted to share, if I may, some of my retreats that I'm hosting in the near future, which is really exciting. You know, the magic a lot of people say, "Oh, you're amazing, what you do and everything." It's not what I do. I truly believe in God, and it's God's spirit working through me and providing the space and the place for people to come and join us. And so I have 2 retreats coming up. One is in November in Niagara Falls at a monastery, and it's not too late to join. We had 26 women last year between the ages of 28 and 90, which was incredible. And we also I planned one for Panama in March.
I saw that. That's
Yes,
just
so
wow.
I'm really excited about that. It's going to be my first destination retreat, but I've been to that location 3 times, and I promise you, you are going to love it. So
It
if
is on my
anyone is,
bucket list. Panama. Oh my goodness. I've been intrigued with that area of the world for so long. And when I saw you post that, Sylvia, I was like,
Yeah.
Sign.
It's
I mean, I need to check this out.
it's a very remote location. You have the beach, the mountains, and the jungle all wrapped into all the vistas from where we're located. And so it's so incredibly beautiful. So I think Olivia's going to post a quick video on what
Yes.
to expect by coming to Panama.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, wrong one, but that's okay. That's the monastery one. Am I on? Can you hear me? Yeah, that was the monastery one, not the Panama one. I think we put on the wrong one. I'm not sure if Olivia has the Panama one.
I'm wondering if she does. Pardon me. Hold on. If she has it, she's really good at bringing things up quickly. So you know what we'll do? Sylvia, let's go.
Oh, here we go.
There you go. Go. Oh, wow.
That would be great.
Just saying, wow, getting my travel bug on. No kidding. Yeah, that was fabulous. I mean, this is wonderful to give people the choice too, Sylvia, because you know, for those that maybe can't for whatever reason travel to Panama, but you know, you have one that's local and then one that's abroad, and that just covers so many bases for women to choose from. And oh, thank you for sharing that. You can connect with Sylvia, of course, at her handles are there, Authentically Evolving on Instagram. And I'm going to take a picture of us before we bring on our next guest. So get your book ready. There we go. And let's see. All right. Yes, you're centered. Nice. Okay, ready? And let's do one more. There. All right.
Lisa.
It was wonderful hearing from
And,
you today and to know of all of the incredible work that you're doing in the world. Keep it up, my friend.
and thank you, Lisa, for all the hard work that you've done in getting this all ready and putting us all together. I feel so blessed to be a part of this group with these amazing, incredible women. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm so glad you were part of it. Oh, all right. See you,
Bye.
Sylvia. All right. Wonderful. Oh, yes. This was one of the reviews from a fellow co-author who wrote a beautiful review for Sylvia for her chapter. Actually, Rachel, you'll meet Rachel later today in our evening session, but just shout out to her. She's been just incredibly helpful behind the scenes in a myriad of ways. And she also went through the book and wrote these reviews for each co-author's chapter. Beyond just reading what's on the page, she really wanted to share what she took away from their words, and that means so much to us as authors, to know that the impact was there. So I'm really very grateful to Rachel for taking the time to do that. And I'll just read a bit of this review. Sylvia, I really loved reading your story. I've had some similar challenges, drastic change, immobility, etc., in the more recent years of my life. And I love your outlook that God has never left you or us, and that we aren't supposed to pray for perfect lives without struggles, but to pray for the strength to get through whatever struggles we are faced with. I love this. And I find it to be such a beautiful and powerful testimony that we can all use a reminder of. Thank you so much for sharing. Excited to see what's next for you. Oh, grateful to this amazing community of writers. We've become more than just writing buddies, putting a book together. Not that that was a small feat, believe me, it was anything but. We've also, though, become a family, and that has been incredibly special. So we're going to be joined momentarily by another one of our family members. Ah, yes. Wonderful. We have Sandra Blaze in the studio next. And I will be bringing her on in a moment, but let me share her quote. Everyone has the power to change their lives. On occasion, we need someone further down the path to guide our way. Oh, those are true words. And I am so thrilled to welcome Sandra on to the live with us today and to share a bit about her journey of uncovering her light. There she is. Welcome, Sandra. Oh, great to see you. And we're going to get
Hello.
the chance to hear from
How
you in a
are
moment.
you?
Do you want to check your? Yeah, I'm so glad that you checked your audio. I'm going to, it sounds wonderful. I want to give everyone just a brief context of, again, the myriad of ways that these wonderful women have come to be together in this project. So Sandra and I met through another networking organization. We were in a Zoom room together. Well, how many of us did that in the last couple of years? Lots of Zoom rooms, but this one was special because I got to meet her and share what I was doing, which was bringing this compilation to life. And right away, her interest was piqued. I remember us having a few conversations after that initial call, and it was just absolutely clear that this was something that was on her heart and that the timing was right. I let you share more about that, Sandra, but I'm just so, yes, we are. Shruti from Volume 1 is just saying in the chat, we are soul sisters. Absolutely. It's become such a wonderful uh, environment that we can grow and learn from each other. And I'm going to let you take it away now, Sandra, to share some of those poignant moments from your experience of going through this process, and perhaps if you wanted to read a bit of your chapter, whatever's on your heart to share, uh, it's your time. So take it away. Mm. Try again. The audio is being tricky. I could hear you earlier though, so it may just be a simple fix. Not to worry. Oh, and look, your cat's joining us too. We need some comic relief when tech is getting annoying. Yeah. You know, she's coming in to help. Okay, you want to take the earbuds out? Okay, we could just might have to change your audio settings. So, yeah, I know, eh? Rachel's like, peekaboo kitty. Yeah, I don't know where my furry friend has gone to. Um, my dog, Chloe, who's usually right here on the sofa next to me, she was at the start. Now she's gone off to do I'm not sure what. Go ahead, Sandra.
Now,
Oh,
can you hear me?
yes, yes, go for it.
Oh my good grief, technology. I love it and don't love it all at the same time. So when it is working, spot on. It's awesome. It was showing me it's muted. I'm like, what? What is going on? But first and foremost, Lisa, amazing. Like this wouldn't have happened without all of your hard work, and everything behind the scenes is just astounding. And we would be here unless we had Golden Brick Road thing. And so I want to do a huge shout out to them as well. Like this is something that's absolutely fantastic for many, many people, as well as the lady for this, which is Olivia Vo and Savvy Social Pro. Apologies for that. And so want to make sure that, kudos to everybody that made this happen. And something, as you can see in the chat from the other women, like we're not alone. Like there are so many people I believe that think they're alone and they're not. And if any, my biggest hope is it's just empower us what it looks like right now. It's okay. There are other people and there is support and there are people that be right helping people through this. And so personally, I believe if we go through things in life so that we can help others those things. And to for you. You're not absolutely. So sorry, there's a my answer. Okay.
Oh, wait, I'm unmuted. Yes, Sandra, you know what? We heard the first section of what you were sharing, and then the internet just was coming back as being unstable or a bit choppy. But let's see if it's gonna do what it should, and we might have to bring you back and just share some more especially from your chapter. I know that that's something that you're planning to do. So we're going to continue. Let's do some fixing in the back, and yeah, thank you, Julie, for sharing that in the chat. Julie from Volume 1 has shared, Sandra, so true. We are never alone. And here she is again. Let's see. Let's cross our fingers. I am hoping that it'll be a clear channel.
Yes,
Yeah,
ladies. How is this? Is this
you're
good?
good.
Yeah, I
You're
don't know what
good.
happened. All of a sudden, a whole bunch was popping up, and then again. So I can't be the only one with this, and then we'll see how it goes from this point forward. But yeah, just thank you, and we're alone. And I apologize for the technical difficulties on my end. I don't know what's going on. It figures, right? And so a couple things I just wanted to share a bit from my chapter of lessons that I didn't know, that I did not learn until I was in my mid-30s, and I'll read a bit from there, and hopefully everything comes through, so please doesn't. And so the biggest thing for me around and being like, is this like doing everything right, doing everything that ever do, but still feel. And I struggled for that for years until I found people that seem to have it together. And so by being able to do that, some of the things that I learned is from people that were just further on the path that I wanted to be on. So the lessons, I've learned amazing lessons that never shared with me. But here are a few that I believe are the key to success in life. Change is a choice. You choose to change everything. Suck, and honestly, it probably will, and be the most difficult thing done, but it's worth it. It is all about our mindset, every last bit. I have control over I think, feel, and act. When I take my eyes off myself, I help others achieve what they're looking to achieve. At a job or level of education does not define who you are as a person. It does set the limitations of what you can achieve. Simple does not mean easy. It is not about who you know. Your association will make or break you. Change the question from what you want to do to what kind of life of people, but have boundaries. People will treat you the way you will love. Like this is something I really struggle with. If I put this job, like if I started putting this, stop blaming everybody else for my. The best one for me was when taking advantage of else's opinion. Ask yourself, then live. If the average take their advice or listen to their opinion, and remember, it's what we know, not it's what you know for sure that just ain't so. And the change in my life are based on the switch my mindset to long-term planning, taking control of my finding excuses, discipline and consistency is pretty boring, but it like the way our life turns out is based on tweaking, not overhauling, and just getting 1% better than who I was the day before. And learning how to invest my time and invest money, not waste my time and spend my money. Letting what you do for a living define who you are as a person. And so thank you so much for this opportunity. Like this has just been so crazy. It's been a whirlwind. Oh my gosh, Lisa, it's been a whirlwind.
It really has. And you're right. I agree 100%. And I just want to pick up on one of the many nuggets that you dropped there. And you're going to have to buy the book to find more, by the way, because we're not giving away our whole chapters today on our lives, but you can always go to Amazon and grab a copy for yourself. But one thing that Sandra just shared about, the goal being to get 1% better each day. I encountered that when I read, I guess it was maybe perhaps in the spring or the summer, the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. And he talks about that concept of, just working towards incremental change. And that over time, that's so powerful. And you look back and not even recognize the person that you were before you embarked on that journey. And thank you for bringing that through your words. And it's just such a delight to have you on this project, Sandra, and to be in worlds together, in the writing world together, and also in just being connected through this sisterhood that we formed. It's been a total pleasure, and I'm so glad that you could join us today to share some of your chapters. So we're going to take a picture
Thank you very much, and I apologize
before you head off.
Thank you.
Oh, listen, we'll get through tech. It's part of the territory. Let's just, yes, we're going to do a picture and one more for good measure. There we go. That looks, I think the second one was the winner. Thank you, Sandra, for joining us today. All right. Take care, my dear. Wonderful. We're just barreling along in our author interviews today, and we're going to be sharing some time with another one of our co-authors in a moment, and we're going to get to meet. I believe next up we have Helen Harwood Snell. So let's see if I'm correct. Yeah. Okay. All right. Wonderful. Let me read Helen's quote for you. Change doesn't have to come through epiphanies, just as long as you get there. Oh, I love that quote. So true. Wonderful. And I'm pleased to welcome Helen into the studio to join us and to chat about her chapter and also about a bunch of other things that will be very informative and inspiring. So let's welcome Helen Harwood Snell. There she is.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Seeing the other
Oh,
authors all talk about their stories.
no, it's been wonderful. It's been a really fun afternoon, and I'm so glad you're here to do the same. I should just set this up by telling everyone how Helen and I met. Now, since we met, we've been associated through this wonderful women's group called Fem City that I've mentioned a few times, but we didn't meet through Fem City. We actually met um, in a seemingly random vendor event. And I say seemingly because really there are no random things. They are meant to be. We were side by side, at this event, sharing we're both part of wonderful direct sales companies. I was showing all that Epicure had to offer, and Helen was showing the wonders of our Bond products. And here we are thrown into this event, not knowing each other, but just hit it off. And we connected through Facebook and through social media since then. And then we met again through Fem City. And when I thought of this project, I immediately thought of Helen because of her background in writing. And I knew that she helped women and other people to bring out their stories and to bring them to life. So, what better person to do that and experience that herself. So this is how she came to be on this project, and I'm so grateful.
Thank you. I'm so grateful that you asked me. Say, even though you thought I would be a good person for this project, I was a little slow dipping my toe in the water. That's why I ended up in volume 2 instead of volume 1. But that's actually kind of part of my story. I creep slowly into most things that I do. And that quote that you read is, I realized that my life has not been based on these big aha moments. It's just kind of little things over time that start to add up and make a change. And I even started a blog a few years back that I'm actually going to rejuvenate, that's all about like little steps, because that just kind of seems to be the story of my life. So in this process, put me into volume 2 instead of volume 1, but it's been so fun watching the whole authors, seeing all of their interviews and helping them through the process, and now doing the same thing. You are such a trooper. You've been going on this like time, handling all of us. So yeah.
Thank you for those kudos, Helen. That means a lot coming from you. And I know that one of the things that you'd mentioned to me that has been instrumental in your journey is discovering different, ways of communicating and things that have been relevant for you through through the writing process, but also through your work with people in the various ways that you come at what our stories mean and how to express them. And I think you do that so beautifully in a number of ways. But I'd love for you to share a bit more about what those keys to communication would look and sound like.
Yeah, happy to do that. So I'm going to begin a little bit with community once again. Those of you who haven't checked it out, check it out. So I was
Yes.
a chapter group last week, and one of the women there meant the idea of not people pleasing, but she reframed it and said that in living the lives that other people want them to. So it's not so much that you're pleasing other people by your actions. You don't think you're supposed to be, or you're being what you think want you to be. So, Fem City has been, an instrumental part for both Lisa and I, but it just made me think through that conversation that, my chapter title is I've been in there all along. When Karen spoke those words at our meeting, it made me think, yeah, like I've been in there being what I thought other people were, hiding who I didn't think other people wanted to see. And so this whole idea of uncovering your light, it comes up in conversation now. So the whole idea of communication, I'm actually going to back up just in your reference to online business with Arbonne, how we met with your Epicure and my Arbonne business there side by side. That's really when this whole communication piece started for me. I realized that in this, kind of sea of healthcare products and skincare, I wasn't an indulgent skincare user. I wasn't somebody who put on a lot. I wasn't somebody who, at that time, although I've changed, I guess, since then, I wasn't really into a lot of like health and nutrition products. What my story was within the story of that brand. And that whole idea of communication, that's what's led into my certification as a writing business, because I began to brand myself as a person rather than a representative of that company. And so I'm gonna just back up into my story a little bit, and then I will I'll share a little bit of those communities. So from my book, picture this girl: green velvet dress and matching stockings, black patent leather shoes, flaming red, chubby, freckled cheeks, smiling at the camera. There might have been a tooth missing. This is one of the first photos I remember where I wasn't me. I hated sitting under the hairdryer on Saturday nights with my hair in little foam rollers. I hated dresses and leotards and all things girly. But there I sat, all tidied up in front of the piano that I practiced daily, just like my mother wanted. I was dressed up for church or whatever the occasion was, but all I wanted to do was get dirty. And from a little further in my chapter, data is accepted in the world. As people are more separated from their true selves, they are also that much more offended by opinions that are different than their own. A difference of opinion is seen as a line in the sand. Emotions rise and facts don't matter. Information is being blocked and manipulated on social channels, and governments form us into their ideation of goals, all to conform us to one line of thought. This is where my love of learning gravitated to public platforms. My inner light embraced, and my value in this world was realized. So many of us don't understand our value in the world because of things that we have accepted of ourselves, because of things other people have told us. And I think that you've seen that in a lot of the stories that the women have shared so far. So knowing who you are is really instrumental, especially in your business as an entrepreneur, because you are your business. People buy you. They buy the person. They don't really buy the product or the service. And so that means they have to understand you. They have to trust you. And so communication is a big key in that. So let's talk a little bit about that whole understanding process. So first of all, I hope you guys know, entrepreneurs out there, that the whole world isn't your customer. Your friend, and not everyone is your customer. That's just the way the world is. So showing your true self should actually bring the right customers to you because they resonate with who you are, with what you're saying, with what you represent. So communication has these 4 simple keys with people. So the first thing I want to just extend to people is ask questions, be curious. So whether you're looking at somebody's profile, wondering if you should connect with them, like get to know them, look at their profile, look at who they are, what they do. If you're having an interview or a conversation with someone at networking, or if you're having a meeting, ask questions. That's how you actually get to know the person on the other side of the conversation to start that effective communication. And then the second thing I want to share with you here. So don't listen for your turn to speak. Don't listen because that's the socially polite thing to do, to sit and nod. Actually listen so that you're hearing what the person is saying in response. And that's the real key, is because that's where you find the clues. So the third key that I want to share with you in communication is look for clues. So when people answer questions, there are verbal clues, there are clues, there's lots of information that I can share on communication. I think a lot of us probably know that 95%, I think, or 93% of communication is nonverbal. So showing up in, a bright red sports car to a meeting is going to tell people who you are right away, without words, right? So listen to people in those respects, like on social media. How do they show up? Do they show up with designer clothes? Do they show up with flashy cars? If it's a man, are they well groomed? Do they have a business suit? All of those things actually tell you who they are. But when you're asking those questions, when you're looking for those clues, you want to see what their values are. And that's what the looking for clues is all about. So are their values about family and community? Are their values about success, money, travel? Are their values indicative that they need to follow a system or have a blueprint to know how to operate? Do they need proof? Do they look at, brand new opportunities? Are they into technology or formality? Those things all give you clues to the values that you should then speak to. And so that's my fourth tip, is then address those clues, speak to the values of that person. And what that does is it gains you trust. It makes that person feel heard. And then, as we know, when you're dealing with people, be it on social media or through networking opportunities, knowing someone over a long period of time develops that trust. And then when they're curious to look at your service or look at your product, they're going to feel a trust already because they know you. And that's going to actually encourage the relationship for them to actually trust to step into a business opportunity of some sort with you. So those are the 4 clues. Ask questions, listen to hear, look for clues, and then address those clues. Those are 4 really simple things that we can all do to communicate better in the world. And I actually work with a brilliant system called BANK, B-A-N-K. And what I would love to offer for those who purchase the book is an opportunity to win a set of, so a couple of things, but an opportunity to win a set of bank value cards. And these are great little things that you can use to help you understand that communication sequence better. with people. And I'm also going to offer free to anybody who's listening to this video, if they want to download a bank communication assessment of their own personality code. I can post it in the chat. But I see that Olivia has posted this up here. This is the special offer that you could win the bank cards with your proof of purchase of your book. You get a half an hour with me to actually show you how to use those, how to improve your communication, and use very simple tools to do that. And everyone, as I said, is Sharon said she's got those cards. Awesome. Yes, they are great. Everyone is free to crack their personality code. So there's kind of 2 points to this. Understanding your own values and understanding your own communication style. That's what you can do when you crack your code. And the cards help you understand the values of other people. And so I hope hearing for you guys today to learn a little bit more and how you can, for me, it's raising the vibration in the world. If we can communicate better, we can respect one another more. This has been a bit actually being afraid to speak. You know, putting the words down on paper have made me realize that there's still a lot more that I have to share. And so I know there's lots of things coming out in terms of communication and storytelling that I have yet to share. So I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today. I hope this was a little bit inspiring for people. It says that my page needs to reload. So I hope I'm still live. I hope you guys are still hearing me and everything. Message went away. We're all good. Gotta love technology. Just got this little red message. So we're good.
I saw the same message, and now it's gone. So yay, you are still here, and that's great, because I want to take a picture with you before you leave the studio, and let's do that. So hold on a second. Let me find my print screen. Okay, do you have your
I do.
handy? Of course
This way,
you do. It's never far away. And let's see if maybe Olivia can bring us up a little closer so that we get here. We'll take a picture. Oh, there we are. Ta-da! Okay. I'll do a second one. Hold on a second. Let's just I'm going to wait until that. Yes, I wanted that red weird message to just go away. All right, smile. Thank you, my dear. And wow, Helen, so much goodness to come as far as rejuvenating those methods of communication that you that you just really thrive in. And I can tell just from you speaking here today that there's going to be a lot down the road, that the floodgates have been opened. Perhaps it was through writing the chapter, but however it happened, I'm just so glad to see, because you have so much creativity and knowledge and wisdom to share. And I'm really grateful that you were part of our journey.
I'm super grateful too, Lisa. I do think that that's been a real catalyst to opening those floodgates, is through, who I am and how do I want to show up, and putting that into the chapter has really inspired me to take, more steps for things that I really do want to put out into the world. And so I appreciate this so much. I appreciate you and GBR Publishing and Olivia working all her magic in the background for all the crazy things we have going on. So this is so awesome. So I'm going to head back over to the other group and see how book sales are going. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. Please do send some messages in our group chat, because I've been on here, so I've not been able to check since we went live. I'd love to hear how things are going. All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Helen. Take care. Oh, that was wonderful. Well, we still have a couple co-authors that we're going to hear from momentarily before we round out our time together. And we may go a bit over 3 o'clock, but that's okay. It's all worth it. So I'm hoping that our next guest is in the studio. We are going to be hearing from Eva Wong, and so pleased that she is joining us to share a bit of her journey. And she's a photographer, a comic, and much more. I love that tagline. That just makes you want to know more, and you'll get a chance to hear from Eva herself. So, 3 reasons why Eva is sharing her story: to help readers embrace their beauty in and out, to encourage readers to find their voices in this world, and to bring light to new perception of the self with love and courage. Well, I think she said it all there. Those are some amazing whys, and I also have to thank Eva for doing some social media wizardry of her own in the background in compiling all of the co-authors' whys into this wonderful reel that she made for us to post on social media. So if you haven't seen it yet, you can head to her page. And there she is. Hey, Eva.
How are you?
So great to have you in the studio. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much for being, I call the mother hen of all the
The
co-authors.
other hand,
And
boy.
yeah, you put so much work in. I'm so appreciative of everything you have done for us and all the patience.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Oh, thank you for that. There's so much, you're right, Helen. There's so much creativity and cooperation in this group, 100%. And that makes my job all the more easy. And I'm so glad that you're able to join us. Your chapter in our compilation is chapter 14, Becoming Desirable. And I know that that title alone will, kind of elicit some reflections or questions or ponderings in everyone's mind, because to be honest, being desirable, it takes on different forms for different individuals, right? And everyone is going to frame what they take from our words, internalize it, and then it'll come out in a new and kind of different shape. So I think that's the beauty of writing and sharing our words, is that the readership will take that in and make it their own on the other end. So anyway, without further ado, I would love, yes, I love that title too. Stephanie is saying, yes, why not be desirable? Exactly.
Yes.
So let's hear from the author herself, and please do share with us any parts of the journey, whether it be the writing process or what you learned about yourself, whatever you would like to share today.
Thank you, Lisa. I find that a lot of times when we talk about being desirable, right away we think about the appearances and how superficial it is. And when I was young, I always thought about being desirable or being attractive as a very superficial way of looking at life itself. And the reason why I want to tell this story is that when I was young, I was always a tomboy. I never cared about how I looked. I was sporty, and I was the darkest in my family. And Chinese families do not like their daughters to have tan skin. But I love how muscular I was when I was a kid, because my cousins really enjoyed it. When they come to my place, I would flex my muscle and pretend to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was competing for Mr. Olympia. So I would flex my muscle, do my poses, and they would laugh. And I completely enjoy that and embrace that side of me until my mom started over and over again telling me how I was just too dark, too tall for any guys to like me. So I'm like, well, I don't care. But somehow, some along the line, she broke me. She broke me with her words, and I started believing her in the standard of beauty. And throughout my life, I never felt desirable as a human being. And that actually affected the way I make decisions, because I didn't believe that people will like me for who I am. It's beyond the looks at this point. It's more, hey, I'm not someone that they would relate to because I wasn't fair. I didn't have a petite stature. So I kind of turned all this into my um, stand-up comedy tagline one day. And I said how my mom predicted that no guys really wanted me because I actually looked like a Hawaiian dude. And for me, those words actually, it doesn't hurt anymore. And when I come to think about how I'm using my past to empower women, I stood in front of my clients with my camera just to help empower them, to help them see the beauty through my lenses. But at the same time, I wasn't seeing my own beauty. I chose to be behind the camera and help others feel desirable. So I was digging deeper and trying to relive my childhood a little bit. But I wrote this chapter in a very light-hearted manner with a little bit of humor because that's who I am. I deal with struggle through humor, and I want to continue to do that because that's how I could process it and how I hope people could face life with a sense of humor and respect to themselves so they don't take life seriously. And I want to challenge every woman who is here today, including our co-authors, to find ways to continue to find themselves attractive and desirable and take care of themselves just because they love themselves and not because they want to love themselves in a different version. They can love themselves now and to continue to be the better version of themselves. And then trust in their voice and decision along the line because they believe that they deserve it.
Wow. Wow. You have shared so much wisdom in a very brief live. I mean, the comments that are coming in the chat are so you know, really crystallized that so well. Uh, and I'm feeling the power those words had over you as a child. Helen, one of our co-authors, says, I'm so glad you were able to overcome and realize how incredible and desirable you are. And Rachel has said, so, and I agree with all these comments. People don't realize the power of a comment that's so simple, and they think it is just coming from them to you, but it can affect your entire life outlook. So, Eva, there's been a ton that you've shared here, and I feel that people who want to hear more will definitely need to go and buy the book. And yes, absolutely. And I'm going to, yeah, and you got to flex your muscles. Oh my goodness. So
Oh,
as you're doing that, I'm going to just, I love that. Oh my gosh, let's take a picture. Okay, let's take a picture before yes. Oh my gosh, I love it. Another one. Oh, that's perfect. I am going to, as you're leaving the studio, I'm going to plug in because I'm getting a message that my battery's low and I don't want to end up leaving completely. So we will say goodbye. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you
us
so much,
today,
Lisa.
my dear. And we will hear more about your chapter when people buy a copy. So go to Amazon, everyone.
Exactly.
Thanks, Eva. Take care.
Yeah.
And we have one more co-author coming up as I plug in. Give me a moment. All right, everyone. And we're at the top of the hour. This is perfect timing. Wonderful. And all plugged in. and ready for our last but not least co-author joining us today to chat a bit about how she uncovered her light. And we're going to be hearing from Marley Tufts, who's joining us in the studio now. And can't wait to hear what she has to share with us. So, also really curious to see how things are going in our Amazon rally, but have to do all that investigating after we have a chat with Marley. So, her chapter is entitled Rosie, and she will hopefully share the significance of that name with you. It's quite a moving story. And I'm looking forward to hearing more about her experience with joining this writing project. I remember that Marley was one of the later additions to volume 2, so she came into the fold sort of after we were up and running, and most of the co-authors had started the writing process. But she brought this amazing sense of boldness and sense of self that was contagious. And I think you will totally understand what I mean when we hear from her. So going to see if okay, all right. Well, you know what? Unfortunately, Marley was in the studio earlier, but we aren't able to bring her back yet at this point. And because we are at the top of the hour, we're going to wrap up. Oh, this is so cool. Thank you for the update. All right. Oh, amazing. We're currently 141st position in the happiness category on Amazon. So you got to buy your copies to bring us above the 100 mark in order to be considered on the bestseller list. So you've got a job to do, my friends. Those who are tuning in live or anyone watching the replay, please head over to Amazon, grab a copy, not just for yourself, but grab another one for a friend, because we all know somebody who would be moved and inspired by stories of other women whose experiences have relevance to their own lives. And we all know readers, people who just dive into these sorts of compilations and really get the nuggets from that experience. So think of who that girlfriend or sister or gosh, this book is not just for women, everyone. I know so many men who've bought it and have had amazing reviews after reading through the story. So please don't think that it's just for one gender at all. It's for however you identify. This book could have those seeds of hope for you. So get on over there and head to Amazon, purchase a copy or two. I suggest having one for a stocking stuffer. I mean, it's going to be Christmas before you know it. And then we can, do our rally the way that all of our co-authors deserve, which is to be in that bestseller list, because honestly, it is worth being in that company. Oh, we've got another update. Thank you, Rachel, for bringing this to my attention. We are 13th in hot new releases in happiness. Again, that category, it just seems to fit what we bring to the table. And I mean, who wouldn't want more of that in their lives, right? That is such wonderful news to end this broadcast with. Thank you to all of those who have joined from Facebook, LinkedIn. I know I've seen comments coming in from both places, which is wonderful to know that the live streams are getting out there. And let's get this book into the top 10. Yeah, totally need to be there and deserve to be. So we need your help though. So please go to Amazon now. If you've already bought a copy, that's wonderful. We thank you really from the bottom of our hearts for your support. But you can take it one step further and go to Amazon and leave us a review. 5 stars is always lovely, but it has to be what you really feel in your heart, because we want honest and authentic feedback always. So there's another way you can help us today. Those reviews are seen and looked at by so many potential readers, and they are digested and really taken at face value. That's why they are so crucial to our rally to being getting this book into more hands. Wow. So this has been fun. I am really grateful to Olivia Vo, who I believe is still in the background. She has been instrumental in getting us all up and running on Restream so that we can do this broadcast and just bring these stories, these wonderful authors into the mix. So thank you, Olivia. There she is. Much gratitude to you. Big shout out for all your help. Wow, we couldn't have done this without you.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the things that were happening today just came out of nowhere.
It's like, whoa, Twilight Zone stuff.
Right? And I thought we had plenty of practice with last week's launch, which was so incredibly successful. So all of you who are in the evening session, because yes, it doesn't end here. I mean, this is an all-day rally. Yes, all-day rally for the amazing authors of Uncover Your Light to reach to the top of #1 Amazon bestselling status. So please join us again for evening session, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern time. So those authors, please make sure you're on Chrome. Make sure you're checking your devices. Make sure you are hardwired in to your internet if at all possible, or you have a super dedicated, super high-speed Wi-Fi. Please make sure that you're checking your pictures, you're mirroring your camera so you get the nice, really beautiful book cover image. So all these things will really help benefit you tonight. But I cannot emphasize enough, like, please be on Chrome, not Safari and not Microsoft Edge.
Thank you. Those tips are really, really helpful and help us to just run things in the background, because you are doing just the work of a magician back there. So we're really, really grateful for your skills in this regard. And yes, join us again, everyone. We're going to do this 6 to 8 tonight. So let's all take a little break. I think I might go find where Chloe is, and she's disappeared, and maybe take her for a walk, and we'll reconvene on these channels at 6 p.m. Eastern tonight. So join us again. All right. Thanks, Olivia.
We're going to play an outro clip, and we'll see you tonight.